Folks, we are the problem. We're the problem. We're the problem.
Regardless of your party, we have got to help each other.
That's why I'm so sick of these bitches. How many times you won't think something like that? You won't say something like I don't understand how you won't understand.
My property taxes are going to go up $600 a year from now on. I got a letter that my homeowner's insurance is going up $60 a month.
Hello brothers and sisters, I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from now. Most of the white folks are now shocked by the black resilience, and most of them are now calling out the black community for guidance and unity during these hard economic times when the US is considered as a failed economy. Let's watch this video, then have a really quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
Good. So I am walking around the store and looking at every white man and telling them, fuck Trump. I say, hello, how are you? I engage with them. They say, hello, how are you back? And I say, I'm doing great. Thank you, sir. Fuck Trump. I hope you're having a good day. These white men are sensitive. I just had a gentleman react with a tough macho attitude, pushed me with his belly. He grabbed my grocery cart, tried to pull me outside to say he was going to finish it outside, right? He's like, you started it, I'm going to finish it. Like, very childish, very sensitive, very emotional and angry. So I didn't do anything. I didn't react. I stood there and just continued to be like, yep, you're being a snowflake. You're being sensitive. What's going on? Oh, you can't say the fuck word. That's offensive. And I was like, okay, being a snowflake, called him snowflake, called him sensitive. And I was just like, okay, entitled white man. And I just kept doing that. And he was angry. He kept trying to threaten me and just follow me. He followed me around the store a little bit because I was going to the produce section to get some potatoes. And, he was circling his cart kind of around me, pushing his cart towards my cart, hitting it, and just being a sensitive man. Like, all because I said fuck Trump. He's like, oh, this is a public place. And I'm like, nope, it's private. Oh, blah, 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 blah. There's kids around. I'm like, there wasn't. It was just you. And so stuff like that. And just, we got the management, we got security, and Bruce is one of the guys there that's a really great guy. He and I have had many conversations about this in the past, about me saying fuck Trump to people. People have complained. People have said something. And the management was like, there's nothing we can do. He's allowed to say that. But this time they were like, you can't say it, blah, 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 blah. So I have bought a mask that says fuck Trump. And it's coming. So I'm going to wear that mask. And I'm going to use my free speech to cause disruption in the white community. Very much so. I'm going to look at every single white man and tell them, fuck Trump, exactly what I think. I had a couple good experiences with it, but a couple not. So, right, there was a very big, overweight, big-bellied white man buying charcoal and fish or something. He was so sensitive, so upset that I said fuck Trump. And he's like, that's offensive to me. Let's take this outside. Like, he wanted to beat me up. Anyway, I got security involved, at least at the end, because he was going to meet me outside in the parking lot. And I was like, yo, I'm not afraid of him, but in case something happens, Kroger is now liable or could be for what's going to happen, because they know, and I just informed them, the management, everybody knows that this guy was threatening me and causing. They said I was causing a scene. He caused the scene. He caused the scene by beating or trying to beat me up and running me over with his cart. So, they're gonna look at the footage. I have no idea, but we'll see what happens. I am sick of these white men being so fucking sensitive. You know, pointing it out, making them throw tantrums in public, and pointing it out to everyone around them. While it was happening in the produce section, I was looking at other people and I was like, you see the sensitive white man here? He's a snowflake. Look at him. How are you guys doing? What's going on? Look at this white man with his white male privilege. He's so sensitive. And I know I am a white man, and I do have white male privilege, but I'm exposing these over-emotional, angry men who don't know how to regulate their emotions, and I can push their fucking buttons. And I'm going to, because I know what bullies are like, and I'm just gonna give it right back to them, you know? Make them feel the emotions that they have oppressed. Make them feel the emotions that they are unwilling to express. Make them feel their feelings. And then when they can't handle them, and when they can't regulate them, and when they overreact, their fault, their problem, they're ones that are accountable, not me.
I just seen a video of a white man being angry at Trump, and he was telling black people that Trump doesn't like black people. Since you like black people so much, white man, how about you just go out and tell the truth about black people here in America? Let black people know how they've been reclassified and how the Revolutionary War was actually the Indian War and how they've been fighting forever. Tell that story. Tell the story of how some were shipped to Canada and they were shipped to the Caribbean and they were shipped to South America, even sent to Liberia so that they could be erased and reclassified of their identity. White man, let's tell the real story of how the ancestry DNA automatically reclassifies anybody that says they're black as African Americans. Now let's tell that story. See, all of you Democrats want to tell on Trump. Let's tell the real story. Let's tell the story. How you want all the immigrants to come in and you want to keep the black people who are the real Indians, the real true indigenous people to these lands reclassified. Tell how you actually stole the Indian lands and that the Indians that we see today are not the real Indians. And that they only get money because you can't give them land back that doesn't belong to them. If we're going to tell on Trump, then white man, then I need you to be honest about who the black Americans are. Amen. Until then, Trump it is. Okay?
Every single day I have to go to school and I have to hear something negative about Trump. I am tired. So tired. Like, it's like, I don't like a conversation, having the same conversation over and over, and it's always negative. Like, he ain't doing nothing positive. Listen, I know he ain't the best. Hey, I'm not arguing. That ain't even an argument. But this is who we have to deal with for the next 4 years. My professor today mentioned that Trump pardoned all the people who stormed the Capitol. Yeah, okay, got that. But she also failed to mention that he released a black woman who was an anti-abortion activist, and she has children, and she was released too. So if you only focus on a negative when it comes to a situation or a person, it's just like, are you really better than that person? Like, you know how we talk about, like, during like Martin Luther King Day, the segregation, Jim Crow, and we're like, I know millennials, we'll be like, that couldn't be me because I would have fought back. Yeah, you're right, and that's why it couldn't be you, because we would not have been progressed as a people if we had that mindset. They had to fight in that way. Even in the Bible, it talks about that you cannot fight with the same force that the enemy is coming at you with. If those people back then fought with the same hate that those white people did, we would not be progressed. They had to be at peace. They had to fight in that way so we could progress. Listen, it's better to pray for the person, to pray for Trump, making sure what he is thinking he finna do ain't finna happen. And sometimes you gotta think about it like this. I have so much passion in this area. Why don't I use my passion to birth out purpose? Why don't I create a group that will help you? You never thought of that? Instead of just talking about the same thing over and it sounds like complaining. I hate complaining. Either we gonna come up with solutions or shut it up. I'm sorry to say shut up, but just please hush. I'm tired of hearing about Trump. The negative things. Okay? especially if you're not going to bring out a positive.
Republican Senator Katie Britt is crying because Donald Trump's policies are directly affecting her home state of Alabama, specifically the largest employer in Alabama. Now, this comes after Donald Trump and Elon Musk have made a ton of budget cuts, including with the National Institute of Health, who said they will be cutting payments to research institutions that cover their overhead costs. Now, this is going to affect universities and cause a major budget deficit. Even the University of Alabama, which is Alabama's largest employer. And what do they cut first? Payroll. Yes. And now Katie Britt is crying, saying that we need a targeted approach in order to not hinder life-saving, groundbreaking research at high-achieving institutions like those in Alabama. Right. Cut everybody else's payment, but not ours. We support you, Donald. Now, Democrats need to jump on this. Don't send out Schumer. Send out somebody who could talk to the people and let them know it's not us complaining about what's happening. It's the Republicans, because now Donald Trump's policies are going to affect jobs in even the red states.
One of the loopholes he took advantage of when he claimed $1 billion loss that enabled him to avoid paying taxes.
Did you use that $916 million loss to avoid paying personal federal income taxes?
Of course I do. Of course I do. And so do all of her donors, or most of her donors. I know many of her donors. Number one, I pay tremendous numbers of taxes. I absolutely used it. And so did Warren Buffett, and so did George Soros, and so did many of the other people that Hillary is getting money from. Now, I won't mention their names because they're rich, but they're not famous, so we won't make them famous. So she complains that Donald Trump took advantage of the tax code. Well, why didn't she change it? Why didn't you change it when you were a senator? The reason you didn't is that all your friends take the same advantage that I do. And I do. You have provisions in the tax code that, frankly, we could change. But you wouldn't change it because all of these people give you the money so you can take negative ads.
I feel on the verge of crying when I was there, when he got elected. I luckily had a plan with my therapist. Hope she's watching. Hi, Ann. And I said to her, should he be elected, which none of us thought was going to happen, I need a plan. And the plan was always and only Ireland.
The Democrats who are staying don't have a plan. Axios says, talk to 20 Democrats and you'll find each one has a different theory on why they lost. And Rosie's theory is a conspiracy theory.
So I would hope that that would be investigated and that we would see whether or not it was an anomaly or something else that happened on election night in America when Kamala Harris was filling up stadiums with people who supported her. And Donald Trump was not able to do that.
I'm irritated. I woke up and now my EBT cannot purchase me no soda, no candy, no chip, no ice cream, no dessert, no nothing. And this not even really about me because I'm fortunate enough that if push comes to shove, I don't have to use that EBT. It's not even in my name. It's not my EBT bar. I don't make enough that I can afford my groceries, but I make enough that if I gotta eat, then I can eat. But I'm thinking about people who don't even live within 5 miles of a grocery store. People who go and do their grocery shopping at the corner store because that's what's closest to them. And there's nothing for another 10, 15, 20 miles. And nobody has a car. Everybody has to take the bus. So you can only go to where the bus takes you.
Hold on. Wait. It's a lot to unpack here before we even get started really that much into the video. What is she talking about? Most of the people where she lived, even in the inner city, the closest grocery store is not 20 miles away, number one. Number two, you just sat there and said that you didn't even need it. So if you don't need it, then why you still own it and why you still using it? And this is one of the reasons why the Trump administration started pushing people off of food stamps or requiring for them to do a certain amount in order to get it, because a lot of people are truly taking advantage of the system. Let's continue.
And heaven forbid if you're disabled and cannot get there, and you don't have a caregiver or the necessities that you need to be able to make shit shake. No EBT, like, and I understand, like, okay, you can still buy your necessities, you can still buy your little pasta and your bread and your meat, but what about diabetics? What about the people who need the shit? Like, I don't understand. What's gonna, I don't understand why the baby can't have no chips. Why the baby can't have no...
I'm just floored right now at the level of ghetto-ness, and they all look the same. It's the septum ring theory. It's the nose ring theory. It's the hood booger bonnet theory. It's the I'm gonna make a video in my nightgown theory. You don't even have to try no more. They write the jokes themselves. They see exactly how they look when they jump on this device and they start having this conversation, and they still choose to still do this. Yet these are the people that we have to take care of with our tax dollars. Think about that. You go to work, you grind, you hustle, and the first 25 to 50% of whatever it is that you make, it goes straight to these people. And I'm not just talking about black people, white people, all of that, because the majority of the people that are on food stamps, even though it's a smaller percentage of their demographic, the majority of people, because they are the majority of the population, is white people also. So this is not absolving them either. I've done videos about white people and all of this other type of stuff. If I see bad rhetoric, that's what I do the video on, based off of what you guys send me in the email. So this is not like absolving anybody from anything, but am I supposed to take my advice from a hood booger? And y'all still having children out of why would
Baby, you concerned about if nationwide is on your side. You need to be concerned if Jesus Christ is on your side. Hallelujah.
So I keep seeing videos going around asking white women how we feel about 55% of our community still voting for Trump, even though Trump doesn't care about anybody except for himself. And I think that
if there's an abundance of conservative women, then why is it that conservative men are finding it so hard to find a conservative woman? Why is it so hard for them to get a date? Like, do they all live in Texas, Florida, Tennessee? There's an abundance of conservative women, which implies that there's an abundance of women who are willing to put up with absolute horseshit. And why the fuck are we talking about a male loneliness epidemic? I mean, if the women are out there and they exist, it seems like a skill issue then, right?
In a way, Taylor Swift is for white women what Donald Trump is to white men. In order to understand this, you have to understand like the origin of like whiteness and how like whiteness was created so that, rich white dudes who owned everything would stop getting overthrown by telling the uneducated poor, hey, if you look like us, if you're the same color as us, you're basically just as good as we are. That's like the incredibly simplified and dumbed down version of why we have the very concept or construct of race in our modern society today. But as a result of this, in the modern day, a lot of white people really do lack a form of identity. Much like how for men, the longest time, their whole identity was just whatever the fuck women weren't. White people, their whole identity is centered around, well, having white skin and conquering other people. A lot of white people don't understand, like, you always have, like, some country bumpkin that'll be like, well, why can't I say white power? If I say white power, that's a problem. It's like, yeah, because the whole legacy of whiteness is conquest and subjugation. That's why it's bad. Meanwhile, when people talk about black power, they're talking about resilience. They're talking about survival under white power, in spite of white power. But essentially, Donald Trump and Taylor Swift exist for white men, or white people in general, to project themselves onto. I was wondering why the most basic white women in America love Taylor Swift so much, but then I thought about the song Repeat Stuff by Bo Burnham. Literally, there's a segment in the song where he goes, I hope you don't see through this cleverly constructed ruse designed by a marketing team, cashing in on puberty and low self-esteem and a girl's desperate need to feel love. America says we love a chorus, but don't get complicated and bore us. So the meaning might be missing. We need to know the words after just one listen. So repeat stuff, repeat stuff, repeat stuff, repeat stuff. Swear to God, TikTok, y'all take this one down too. Just like how y'all did my That's How the World Works video. Those lyrics I just mentioned, they are literally Taylor Swift to a T. And I don't think people understand that, like, Taylor Swift is completely manufactured. The country accent at the beginning of her career, totally fake, 100%. And she was manufactured specifically to appeal to country people because they knew that they would eat her up, that crowd would eat up this white, blonde, waifish, girl next door-ish type of woman or whatever, singing country songs. Fast forward to the modern day, oh, she's just like me. I feel so seen by Taylor. Yeah. Because a lot of you basic white women are just that. Basic white women with no individual identity among yourselves. You guys prove it all the time when you go on these weird self-discovery journeys where you learn that this is enough and it's just you embracing the fact that you're a basic white woman. And this conveniently comes about when you're ready to settle down and start having white babies. Much like Exactly. And on the flip side of that, with white dudes, we got Donald Trump, who appeals to specifically white men who feel like they are missing power that they rightfully deserve. White men with nothing to write home about, nothing that actually separates them from the rest of us or actually makes them stand out or be a cut above the rest, hearing all kinds of stories and garbage from their parents about a time where things were better and where white dudes had better opportunities and had more power and shit. They feel seen and represented by these people that they think have what they want. A lot of white women want to be adored and fawned over, and a lot of white men really want absolute fucking.
The results from Donald Trump's recent medical exam are in, and let me tell you, there's a lot of weird stuff going on here. So first and foremost, when the White House announced that Donald Trump would be having this exam, they described it as a routine yearly checkup, but that couldn't be further from what actually happened. This is the letter that Donald Trump's physician put out about the physical, and it's clear from this that it was a far deeper, more sophisticated exam. First of all, he says that Trump completed a scheduled follow-up evaluation at Walter Reed. The White House never told us that Trump had a scheduled follow-up from his April physical, but then he said the visit was part of his ongoing health maintenance plan and included advanced imaging, laboratory testing, and preventative health assessments conducted by a team of specialists. This doesn't seem like your average physical, now does it? And other former doctors to elected officials are kind of raising alarms here. Jonathan Reiner, a longtime cardiologist for former VP Dick Cheney, said the White House should be more honest about the results of the latest visit, as some of the tests did not appear to be routine. He said, are they following up on concerns from when it was noted during the summer that his legs were very swollen, or even the bruising on his hands? And Jeffrey Coleman, who served as a White House physician to 3 presidents, said that normally presidents visit Walter Reed to receive advanced imaging or undergo medical procedures. So Trump was not going there just for your average physical. The White House has not said what tests were done, the results of those tests, or given any more information. This is obviously, in my view, very strange.
I'm fucking crashing out. So I get an email this morning from my work being like, so we put in the incorrect bank information because I just started working there and this is gonna be my first payment. Like, oh, we put in the wrong bank information, so sign into the app and fix it. Otherwise, we have to mail you a check, which is going to take an extra 2 weeks. And I can't sign in the app. I've tried everything. I've tried every username, password, whatever. I went into work today. It's not letting me clock in. I know sometimes they won't let you clock in for 5 minutes. It was 5 minutes for my clocking time. I tried clocking in, didn't work. I tried clocking in at the regular time, 4 o'clock, didn't work. So I'm like, I started thinking about it, and then I'm like, wait, did they tell me the wrong... I think I wrote down the wrong day. I think I'm supposed to work tomorrow and not today. So I went to the manager. I'm like, am I working today? He's like, oh, no. I'm like, oh, but while I'm here, it won't let me sign into the app. He's like, oh, you have to put this in front of your username. I did, and it's still not working, so I can't fix my payment thing. So my younger brother drove me to work because I don't have a license. My younger brother drove me to work, and I call him. It goes straight to voicemail. I'm like, great. So I have to call my older brother. Hey, can you come pick me up? He comes to pick me up, and then I got home, and my younger brother's like, why didn't you call me? I said, I did. It went to voicemail. He goes, oh, yeah, I blocked you because you were annoying me. And then I asked my dad, what are we having for dinner? It's one of my least favorite meals. He said, oh, we're having pasta, chicken, and vegetables. And I'm like, great, fabulous. He's like, oh, well, I thought you weren't going to be here tonight because I thought you were going to work, so I didn't make burgers tonight. I'm like, okay, well, did you buy me a microwave meal at the grocery store? Because me and my siblings are old enough that we can eat something else that my parents don't make. So my dad usually buys me a microwave meal in case I don't, because I'm a picky eater, in case I don't like something he makes. I said, oh, did you get me a microwave meal? He said, yeah, I got you a beefaroni. I said to him, I told you 1,000 times I don't like beefaroni. And he said, well, that's all they had. But then why did you get anything? Anyways, this has been the worst day of my life. It's 1,000 degrees outside. I don't know what I'm gonna have for dinner. I should be getting paid almost $700 that I'm not getting in my account. There's something on eBay that I've been looking for, that I've been really wanting for a long time, and I'm scared someone's gonna buy it because it's such high demand. Before I can... I need drugs.
Hi. Today's a conversation about white people comparing this epidemic to the Great Depression. Now, they're talking about we're getting government handouts and how they're tired of it and everything. We all know that Roosevelt implemented the Federal Emergency Relief Act May 12th of 1933. No black person got assistance then. I can promise you that. We weren't even considered people. So how can you complain about something like this? I'm confused. How is this anything like the Great Depression? Y'all make up an excuse for anything because y'all just see minorities on handouts and you just assume this. The white people that don't work. There are generations of white families that have been on public assistance since it started. So never think that it's only minorities. White people get food stamps. They get Medicaid. They get assistance all the time. They're the first to receive it. But it's a problem. Minorities get it. Could someone answer that for me?
Hello, brothers and sisters. I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you're watching me from now. The US economy is now collapsing. No one saw this coming. And many white Americans, especially those who once supported Trump or those who supported Trump, are now realizing that his policies haven't worked in their favor. And for this one reason, they are coming out to express their outrage and their anger on how the economy is working. Remember that most of them went to vote for all these policies that we are seeing right now. Most of them expressed their contention with the fact that Trump was going to make America great again. And they wanted to be part of the America that was going to be great. Now, things are turning out to be sour on their side. That Trump is no longer making things great again on their side. But rather, things are becoming so hard for them to achieve or to get from the grocery stores and many other things that they never saw is coming. Most of the farmers that voted for Donald Trump are going bankrupt, and they are now calling for the same people that they voted against to come and help them. Is this the awakening that the US needed, or is this the time that we must say, or should we consider that the white supremacy is falling apart and that the time for American collapse has come? I'm not saying it in a bad way, but remember one thing, that the US took part in slavery, and since then it has never taken action to actually compensate those who were affected or to pay for reparations. Now, things are not working in the favor of those who voted for Donald Trump because they are experiencing an economic strain. The cost of living, housing crisis, and shrinking middle class have hit working class white Americans hard. Many believed Trump will bring back jobs and save America, but instead, corporate interest and tax cuts for the wealthy widened inequality. Most of the people were told that America was going to be made great, and that Trump was coming to save them from the crisis they had. He was coming to create jobs for them by deporting others and giving those jobs to the jobless white Americans. Most of them willingly went and voted for these policies, but later on they realized those who were working, those who were deported, were those who were working for the low income jobs, those jobs that they consider not their class. The jobs that included going to the farms, picking blueberries, picking tomatoes, doing so many other stuff that they feel like their superiority cannot allow them to do that. Now, those are the jobs that are available in the US right now. And the gap between the poor and the rich has widened. A lot of inequality. The rich people are now being privileged to live in the US because the government is prioritizing big businesses and giving less priority to the small businesses that are owned by most of the white Americans and American citizens. This tells us a lot that most people come to leadership as most people voted to see others collapse. Now, I want to bring one point to understanding that most of the rural America voted for Trump. They wanted to see their country great. They wanted to kick out some of the people they do not like. See whatever is happening at the moment. There is a rural collapse. The farmers in the rural sides of America are now begging for help. They are bankrupt and they cannot even do whatever they used to do before these elections. Now, small towns and white farming communities that backed Donald Trump are now facing bankruptcies and loss to local industries. Seeing the black community resilience in similar or worse condition makes some white Americans turn to them for guidance and unity. You know, that the black community is still thriving. And I've always said they are not thriving because they are rich. They do not thrive because they know how to manage the little amount they have during the crisis. They're thriving because of the resilience they have had. They're thriving because they have adapted to these kind of situations since they were born. You must remember, some of them were born when Jim Crow laws were taking place in the US. And during that time, the black community was very much disadvantaged. That they could not go to the same schools as their white counterparts. They could not go, they could not do same jobs as their white counterparts. They were disadvantaged. They could not go to the ballot and have the same rights as their white counterparts. But this hardened them with time, in that they can now survive in very harsh and hard economic times. Even those countries that are considered to be very, very racist, and those that have actually played a big role in dividing black and white over time. Blacks have always managed to live in every other situation in the US and across the world. This symbolizes, and this says a lot about some of the things that black unity, or the unity between black and white, should not only come when it is needed. It should come when it is the right time. Is this the right time? There was a time when the black community really needed this unity. No one was there to show up. There was a time when the white community did not listen to whatever the black counterparts were saying. But this time, most of them are now calling for unity. They are now calling for help from the black community. Do you really think this is being real? Is this genuine even? Are they doing this because they need this, or are they doing this to evade the problems they have at the moment? Now, we must also consider some of the things that are happening in the US at the moment. The black economic stability and adaptability has been so high in recent times, and the black community growing financial and cultural independence has become the more visible since 2020 during the COVID-19 times. And black entrepreneurs, creators, and professionals have built thriving ecosystems that don't rely on government rescue. And this is why I've been telling you that when the white community, when white farmers went bankrupt, they always cried to the government and they got bailouts. That's not happening right now. Most of them have been denied bailouts. In fact, the government is not giving them bailouts, and this is not whatever they are used to. Rural MAGA farmers are now even complaining harder. They are crying to anyone who can come and help them pick blueberries and help them not to collapse in further, because they are in a very bad time, considering that the US government is on a shutdown, that only essential services are now being given to prioritized departments. This is leaving some of them paralyzed economically. Now, while parts of white America crumble under economic stress, black Americans are now showing strategic unity, self-reliance, and innovation, something many disillusioned white citizens now admire. Now, most of them are now seeing the black community silent and just minding their own business. They are actually admiring that, because most of them are now divided. Most are divided in regards to the party they belong to. They have played their loyalty to these parties, to these political parties, and in this case, they have been left divided. And this is why the government is taking it is now taking advantage of the situation. They are divided, and the government is now taking advantage of that. Let's not forget the fact that some of the white people have been resilient over time. They have not actually benefited from whatever happened or has happened over the years. A small number of them. And I feel like if black and brown and white unity is needed, then the right thing should be done. Not just because you need it at the moment, but over time, you should be in a position to do the right things, not to place yourself, not to place the black community or the brown community, but for the advantage of you both for the black, white, and the brown community. Thank you so much for having taken a time to watch this video. I really appreciate it. If it's your first time on this channel, consider subscribing, sharing, and commenting on this video. Thank you so much.